Everything's so green.
And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mosette, and here's your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mosette, and welcome to episode 601, the March Madness edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, as we talk about free agency. And, well, what can I tell you? My 40 time is slipping. Wow. The new 6th season of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, our 126th episode. Can you believe it? It's unbelievable. Hard to believe, but we do have the posse here. Let's introduce the posse for this episode, shall we? First, from merry old England, the yin to my yang. He can shuffle cones like anybody else I know. It's Matt. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Matt. How about yourself?
I'm panicking.
You're
I'm
panicking?
losing it. I'm losing it.
Do not panic. Do not
Well,
panic.
the thing is, the reason I'm panicking is because everybody else is panicking, but I'm not panicking about the same thing that everyone else is panicking about, and I'm panicking that I've sort of missed the point of something, or I've missed a tweet.
You sound like
But
you're
I'm
panicking. You're
But I'm
panicking. You're panicking. Oh my
I'm
God,
panicking.
wait a minute. Oh my God, these people are panicking too. It's a panic! Run! Panic! Oh, sorry. We'll talk about that later. Also here, from the wonderful state of Washington, he thinks his 40 time is how long it takes him to down a beer. It's Dustin! Hi, Dustin!
Hey, just so you know, if you shotgun it, it's faster.
It is. Very true.
I just want to
But-
take a
but,
second
you know,
here and
40
apologize to Mark. I didn't get hired
Yes.
at Best Buy for a reason. I'm not part of the Geek Squad.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Mark's having some technical issues, so he could not join us at the last second. And, of course, Will's not here because he's still crying in his Richard Sherman jersey. So we will move on. Let's get this started, shall we, Fergie?
Let's get it started in here.
Yes, let's get it started in here. Here we go. This show is run like a real NFL football game if you've never heard us before. We have 4 quarters and even a halftime. Quarter 1, we're going to talk about some combine news and some other news around the NFL. Quarter 2, we're going to talk about some Seahawk news. What has happened the last couple days? I don't know. The halftime trivia, we have trivia at halftime. 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia
Of the world.
of the world. And
Nailed it.
And I think it's time to settle the 5th season halftime trivia championship.
You can have a draw, you know. It's perfectly
Matt-
allowed.
Versus Dustin,
I've
Brit
not done any show prep.
versus Washingtonian, mano y mano. It's gonna happen, folks. Get ready. Quarter 3 and quarter 4, we're gonna talk about free agency. In quarter 3, we're gonna add an offensive player to our team for free agency. And quarter 4, we're gonna add a defensive player to our team for free agency. Before we start, we'd like to remind you to like, share, subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Also on Twitter and email. Let us know your thoughts. And oh, by the way, the new this season, we are now uploading an actual podcast of our shows on Podbean. So the address is there in front of you. Yes, it's the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. .podbean.com. There you'll see a beautiful picture of us, and you'll find the podcast version of our show, so you can take it with you wherever you want. Uploaded soon after this video is uploaded onto YouTube. Before we start the news, I do have a quick shout out.
Hey, can I do a shout out? Shout out. Shout out. Shout out. Shout out. Shout out. Shout out. Shout out.
Let's start the season with a nice shout out. Little Mo, who is my son, is a 6th grader. And he goes to the same school that I work at. I'm an educator, a teacher, I guess you could say. And little Mo was in my room at the end of the day because we ride home together. And there was a young man, a 7th grader, waiting to be dismissed. And of course, little Mo, as always, and we're in Indiana if you don't know this, little Mo is decked out in his Seahawk stuff, and we're talking about the news of the day, you know. And this kid leans over to us and big grin on his face, and he says, "Hey, I'll ask you guys a question." And I said, "Sure, what is it?" He goes, "Well, how did the Seahawk fans feel when they threw from the 3-yard line in the Super Bowl?" And my son turned right around and looked at me and goes, It was the 1 yard line. If you're going to try to roast us, get your facts straight.
There you go.
True.
I'm like, well, somebody a little salty.
We're all
That's
a little
funny.
salty.
So I thought that was pretty good. So Little Mo taking care of business in Indiana. I had to give him a shout out for that. I thought that was pretty awesome. Apparently,
I think you're taking the take your kid to work day a little too seriously, man.
he's been with me all year. I know. I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Let's get the first quarter news, shall we?
Yes.
Yes, news from around the NFL with me. It's the 12-Man Fan Jam Show News Report brought to you by this week's sponsor, the Combine Board Game. Yes, roll the dice on your favorite draft prospect just like the real NFL teams do with your Combine Board Game. Lead your prospect through the difficult interview process. Have them find secret passages to avoid the press on the way to the Combine. And once there, bench press, jump, and shuttle your way to glory. It's the Combine Board Game, complete with pre-filled specimen bottles. Ages 4 and up only. Absolutely not related to Parker Brothers in any way. All right. Time for the news. Little tidbits from the Combine and everywhere. Here from the Combine, this is called Ain't That a Hit to the Head. Weber State cornerback Teron Johnson was only one of 2 prospects from his county, or from his conference, to earn an invitation to the Combine. So you know he's pretty excited. Unfortunately, he's a defensive back, and they do a thing called the gauntlet. And the gauntlet is you run down a straight line down the field, and they throw balls from your right to your left, to your right to your left. And they start with the left. Well, he thought they were starting at the right. And as he's going down the field, he got hit right upside the head with a football.
He could be signed by the Browns.
Now, to his credit, he did finish out the drill without dropping a single pass. And the best part of this is, on a related note, Johnny Manziel was hit in the head with a woman's stiletto at ladies' night at the Broken Lion Hearts Club Grill outside Dallas also Monday. So,
Not surprising. But
Yeah.
did you say he finished the drill without dropping a pass?
after the first one, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, did he
That's
catch one that bounced off his head too?
And then he said, I'm
Find him
Batman,
now.
and took off. I don't know what that meant, but
Wow.
Batman. Yeah, so ain't that a hit to the head. Welcome to the NFL, son.
Well, knowing your left from your right is a pretty quite integral part of the whole thing as well.
I would think.
Well, he's
Unless
on
they just
defense.
didn't
They should have
tell him.
said strong side, weak side. He would have known.
Yeah, or yeah. Bow, stern.
I'm
We
just
go
not
to bow, then to stern. Arr.
No, I'm still not set on this whole combine stuff. You know, the whole running, jumping, powerlifting,
No.
doing zigzag stuff. I mean,
You would think you would love the underwear Olympics, man. It's like right up your
No,
alley.
but it's not. It's not up my alley though. Cause
Yeah,
it's,
there were
it's-
Olympics.
Although I do remember the year that somebody had a
That was a couple
wardrobe
years ago. Was
malfunction.
that last year?
Yeah, I think it was either last or the year before. Had a wardrobe malfunction. That was the most
Yeah.
hilarious thing ever. But I think, it's a bit like soldiers, and they train soldiers to go to battle by making them run through like fields of tires and climb cargo nets. And it's like, well, how many battlefields do you know are covered in a field of tires and cargo nets? I mean, you're training them for stuff that's not going to happen. And it's a little
Says
bit
the
like-
guy that didn't serve.
I don't need a serve. I don't know. We only get involved if Germany gets involved, and Germany haven't been involved in years. So, and the French aren't good enough because they're just surrendered anyway. So that's all sorted. But I just don't think the combine really accurately reflects what an NFL player really has to go through. I mean, there's no kneeling, so there's no practice about kneeling at the beginning of the combine. Nobody has to practice kneeling down.
Ouch.
There's no yellow flags thrown, and everyone having to move the whole of the combine 5 yards in either direction every single time. None of that happens, and there's no random drug tests, and there really should be.
It really should be, yes.
Like,
Oh,
there
yeah,
should
it's not random. They all know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Some of them still fail anyways.
And now, Richard Sherman can go around and donate his own pee to everybody, just so
There
they
you go.
can avoid.
Maybe
drug
he
tests.
should speak at the rookie symposium. If you get popped, this is how.
This
get
is
out
how you get out of it.
That's how you get out of it. All right, well, that's the news, everybody. No, I'm kidding.
Do your job.
Oh, sorry. Hey, speaking of the combine and its uselessness, Deion Sanders,
Ugh.
who perhaps ran the most famous 40-yard dash in NFL history, combine history, was really excited about Penn State safety Troy Apke's 40. And why was he surprised when Apke ran a 3.5 40? Well, all he could say is, oh man, he can run.
What?
And
he
Matt
ran a 3.5.
He ran a 4.3540.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I heard you way wrong.
3.5. It's
3.540. Seriously?
Like Chitara from Thundercats.
Woo!
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Nice Thundercats reference, man. I love it.
Yeah, it was nice.
I know. Totally. Totally.
Oh.
So Sanders said, "Oh man,
Hey,
he can run."
Go?
And Mike Mayock snarf.
This is where it goes
Mike
off the
Mayock said
rails.
snarf.
Dennis is
Listen
trying
to
do the
Dennis.
host
Listen
thing.
to Dennis because he's talking about news. Listen to Dennis.
This isn't that funny now. Yeah. Deion Sanders was making fun of him because he's white. That's what I'm just going to tell you. I mean, Mayock says, "Why are you surprised?"
Matt, he's a whole different alien race.
Well, Mayock says, "Why are you surprised?" And Sanders says, "You know why I'm surprised. I can't say it on TV, but he can run. And that's presumably a joke because Apke is white and he can run fast. We don't know if he can jump, but he can run." So he said, "Let's just call it what it is." Sanders then went up to Apke, gave him a hug and a big old jar of Cheese Whiz and an autographed picture of Dick Van Patten. So,
that kind of stuff, to be honest with you, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me at all. In my opinion, people are way too uptight about it. And it reminds me of Daniel Tosh on his stand-up for Happy Thoughts when he talks about how we're all the same race. Why can't we just deal with that? Like, he's like, if I go to a horse track and I see a Clydesdale in gate 3, I'm not betting on it. He's like, I'm betting on a thoroughbred.
Yeah, that's good.
He's right. If you saw a shy horse, you wouldn't bet on it to win a thoroughbred race. It just wouldn't,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, it's just how things are sometimes.
Well, and here's how things are here. Because offensive tackle Orlando Brown, who is son of former Browns and Ravens right tackle Orlando Brown, who was pretty good, is considered like a first-round or second-round pick, had this kind of combine experience. Okay. First off, he did just 14 reps on the bench press, which is tied for third worst ever on offensive tackles since 2000.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah. On Friday, his painful-to-watch 40-yard dash clocked in at 5.85.
Is that weeks or months?
I'm not sure.
He still beat me.
Which is the fifth slowest since 2003, and none of the four slower were drafted. He was also historically bad in the vertical jump. His 19.5 inches is third worst ever and will be the worst jumping among drafted players. But even worse, he got yelled at by coaches for running drills for loafing at the combine. He was immediately moved up to the top of the Browns draft board. So, congratulations, Orlando Brown. You're now the first pick of the Cleveland Browns.
Dennis, you did the 40-yard dash yourself last year, didn't you?
I did.
What was your time again?
Well,
He's still running
it. He's still running.
I'm still running it. I actually do. If you give me just a second, I might be able to find that real quick.
It was a respectable. It was respectable.
It was awful. No, it sucked. No, I was
respectable for a man.
I was a 9.7. Little Mo was an 8.35.
Yeah.
Little Mo jumped a 4.47 broad jump, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he's still twice as fast as I am. I feel like at this point
he would probably out-athlete me.
Oh, me too. No doubt.
He'd out-athlete me. Well, see, I'd get on one of those mobility scooters and do the 40-yard. How I would do it.
I got a hernia. I can't jump. So.
Yeah, I can't. Did you see Roger Goodell do it in The Office?
I
heard about that.
He ran like Jerry Jones was on the phone at the other end of the office. I have never seen a man run and puff so much in a suit in all my life.
That's awesome.
I heard it's a 5-something. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Finally, in the news, not related to the combine, but not surprising. I'll tell you what I mean by that. Carolina Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey last Saturday, all he did was help save a man's life during a hike in Castle Rock, Colorado. I'm not surprised one bit that Christian McCaffrey would do this. But anyway, according to Max Hexon of the Panthers official site, McCaffrey and a group of friends and family witnessed a 17-year-old man, Dan Smoker Sr., fall 20 feet onto a rock during a hike. He called 911 before coming to his aid. Everybody stepped up. McCaffrey said, "I called 911. It felt like an eternity. It felt like we were up there for hours, but I looked back on my call, and it took 11 minutes before they came." Amazing what those guys did. Smoker's son, Jan Jr., tweeted about the experience. "I credit them with saving my dad's life." Henson has a broken femur. Henson reports that Smoker Sr. suffered a broken femur, a broken pelvis, internal bleeding on the brain, 9 fractured ribs, and a broken neck, but is in critical and stable condition as of Tuesday.
When I heard you said internal bleeding, I was like, oh, because the first thing when he said he broke his femur from the fall, I was like, oh, there's an artery down there that if you don't get that...
Oh, yeah, femoral.
Yeah, good call. So,
yeah, dude.
That thing will bleed out fast, so it's a good thing they got there, and man, that's...
Hats off to Christian McCaffrey.
Good on him. Yeah, good on him.
Yeah, well done, Dave.
And I'm not surprised. That guy's amazing. So we end on a high note, even though I tried to make a joke out of the guy's name. We end on a high note, and that's the end of the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Coming up on this special March Madness edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show, we add a free agent to our team. But next, we discuss the Seahawk news and the panic! The panic! Right after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
All right, so here we are in the second quarter of episode 601, our March Madness episode.
What month?
Our March Madness episode?
Oh, it's a Myatch.
Myatch!
Myatch! That's right, did you notice on McCaffrey, he kept saying McCafferty and then McCaffrey, go back and forth?
Myatch. Sorry.
I want to get it right one of the times. Of course, we all need a touch of madness. Little Night Ranger for you! Little touch of madness. Look it up, kids. I need a touch of madness. You need a touch of madness? That's Brad Gillis on the guitar, by the way. I saw those guys like 5 times in concert. I bet you don't believe that, Matt.
This is where we need
I am
Mark.
surprised they had 5 concerts.
Yeah, this is where we need Mark, because Mark would know who Night Ranger was. Okay.
I haven't got a clue any of
No,
this.
I know you don't. Neither one of you are sitting there like...
Wasn't that a Hasselhoff TV show?
Oh, my God. that was Night Rider,
Night
not Night Ranger. Not Night Court. Oh, Mark, I miss you. Anyway, here's the problem we have right now in with the Seahawk news. We do have some Seahawk news to talk about. Unfortunately, it's laced with nothing but panic! Panic! Seahawk Nation is panicking right now! But we don't want you to panic. I know. We don't. Stop panicking! We don't want you to panic. We want to calm you down. But here, we're going to talk about what we know is true. The first thing we know is true, and that's another song, but we won't go there. Michael Bennett and a 7th-round pick to the Eagles for a 5th, and Marcus Johnson, an undrafted Texas wide receiver. Johnson, apparently, the word on him is a solid citizen, never dealt with any off-field issues, cites his persistence as one of his greatest strengths, ideal measurables. He ran a 4.38 40. He has what it takes to become one of the rare success stories and undrafted players who goes on to have an NFL career. We've had a couple of those.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of know what that's like. So let's not so much talk about whether it's a good deal or not. Matt, let's talk about the effect of the deal. What was your thought when you heard it?
I wasn't surprised. I think what all Seahawks fans, what we've all got to get our head around is that we're now moving into a new era, okay? And we've got so used to the 2012 to now, stable era of strong defense, and these are our players, these are our boys, and they're going to be on the team forever,
right?
Until you have to wheel them off on a Zimmer frame. But that isn't the case, and also I wasn't surprised when I heard the news. I have to confess, I thought it was cheap. But as it turns out, I think the Patriots were going to be offering something a bit better, but unfortunately they, as the Patriots always do, screwed it up because they didn't get their deal in time or whatever it was, and we'd already agreed terms with the Eagles, so we had to honour that because we're an honourable team, not something that the Patriots would know a lot about. So I still don't think it was the best trade in the world. I don't know much about the wide receiver, I'll be honest. It was like, okay, great. Well, you're an extra, really, on the 5th round pick. I hope we get something good in the draft to develop to sort of take over his role. But I'm not surprised. I wish him all the very best. But it wasn't a shock to me.
I mean, Dustin, your thoughts about the deal overall?
I'm kind of the same. It wasn't a surprise at all. Hell, it wasn't a surprise to Michael Bennett because he said leaving last year that he didn't think he'd be back. Mm-hmm. Nobody really expected him to be back, and he wasn't didn't have any malice about it when he was talking about it. It's the reality of the game.
Yes.
It's one of those things where young guys, it's a young man's sport, and younger players are the ones that are going to take precedence. That's who you want on your roster. He's in his early 30s, and he's coming to a point where his skills are going to start to deteriorate traditionally for his position. Mm-hmm. And he costs a lot of money. So nobody was surprised about it. As far as what they got back for him, I don't know. It was a wash. I don't know if they're going to get anything for him or not. Honestly, I expected him to get cut, kind of like they did with the other guy. So the fact that they got anything back is fine. And this wide receiver that they got, I don't know him. I know he played in 10 games last year, I think it was, and had, 5 receptions for 45 yards. He's a burner. I imagine for us, he'll be more of a special teams guy with that kind of speed and his size, because I think he's a 6 foot plus guy, like 6'1", I want to say.
I think so.
He could be a pretty effective gunner if he's got speed and can get the form to tackle.
Yeah.
So he might be a special teams player for us, but we'll see.
Might become another Ricardo Lockett.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he may very well be. As they said, that was kind of what to compare him to. I think I'm giving the kid a solid shot, but I'm like you guys. I'm not surprised this happened. I don't think anybody is. I think that it was done by the Seahawks. If you look at what they've done, and we'll talk about the other thing here in a minute, but we're talking about Bennett. They traded him to the Eagles. It's not like they sent him to the Browns or the Bengals and said, get out. They traded him to a contending team, and that probably made him feel pretty good. I'm sure he probably had some hand in that, before they pulled the trigger. Hey, the Eagles want you. Do you want to go there or something? I'm sure something was said like that, because I think they treated him with some pretty good respect overall, because I think they should, because, like you said, this core for 6 years has been so amazing, unparalleled success in Seahawk history, and you could really put it against a lot of NFL history as far as the success this defense has had over the last 6 years. And that 6 years in the NFL is a lifetime. That is a career. And we've had these guys this long. I'm really surprised this has not happened way earlier than it has.
And kind of tinfoil hatting it a little bit here, along the same lines. If they asked him, did you want to go to the Eagles? They had the verbal agreement with them, nothing signed. If the Patriots jumped in, like is reported, and offered, it was a 3rd and a 5th for Bennett. If they asked Michael, I wouldn't be surprised if he said no if they went that route, because if I'm not mistaken, they cut Martellus. So,
right.
I mean, if his brother was still there, I'm sure he would have, if they gave him the option, he would have taken it, but they cut him, so.
That's a good point.
And, we're going to save a lot of 5-yard penalties as well, so.
I agree.
It's all good.
And to be honest, he is getting older.
Yeah.
He had a lot of penalties last year. He was not the force he has been. He's still really good defensive lineman. Don't get me wrong.
We've got the best of him. We had the best of him. So
yes,
it's the right time to be trading.
He will not. Yeah, I agree with you. I think we've seen the best Michael Bennett we've seen, and that kind of segues into the other news that happened as recently as today. We record on Fridays. The news that Richard Sherman has been officially released by the Seattle Seahawks, and I refuse to panic on this, because he's making $11 million. No, he's making $13 million.
13.
Yeah, he's making $13 million. He's coming off an Achilles surgery and then another Achilles, so 2 Achilles surgeries. Even the one was a cleanup.
Not true. Second one was actually he's cleaning up bone spurs in his other ankle.
Okay, 2 foot surgeries. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 foot surgeries on a 30-year-old defensive back for $13 million. I'm not sure that was going to, anyone was going to say, yeah, I love Richard Sherman. We'll get that in a minute. But I honestly think that, he said they're going to let me explore my free agency with the hopes I can return. They just wanted the financial flexibility. I think there's a chance he comes back. So I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I'm not, until he signs with somebody else, I'm not sold that he's not going to sign here. What are your thoughts, Dustin?
I think he's gone. Honestly, I think he's going to be a Patriot sooner rather than later. If I'm being honest.
Okay. And why?
Why? Because that just makes sense. They're going to get rid of Malcolm Butler. I'm pretty sure is a free agent or was cut.
He's free agent. And they'd already told him he wasn't coming back before all this anyway.
Yeah, and that's a total Belichick move.
How much do you think they'll pay him? Let me ask you that.
I don't know what their cap situation looks like, but I think they could get a decent deal on him, being the contender that they are, because of the surgery he just had. He's had a couple surgeries in the last couple of years, and he's missed a lot of time, and he might have to do a 1-year prove it kind of deal. So if you're going to get, $5 million to pay for the Patriots or play for the Patriots, or another team can give you $9 million, but they're not a contender, I have a feeling with his competitive side and the legacy he wants to leave and the Hall of Fame that he's aspiring to be in, he's going to go with the Patriots. I feel like that's probably what.
So you think that he'll accept $5 million a year is kind of what you're hinting at?
I'm just saying if that's what the offer. I don't know what the market's going to be.
See, I think in that case, here's what I think. I think if he gets that offer, I think he comes back to us, and I think we give him 2 or 3 years at $5 million, and he says, "I'll take that." That's why I think.
Oh no! 2 or 3 years of $5 million is not going to happen. What I'm saying is a 1-year prove it deal.
Yeah.
Because he's got to prove he can still play because of his injuries. So he's got to take less amount of money, and then after that, then he's open to sign with whoever. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see something like that. He takes that and he comes back to us and says, "Can you match this?" And I think we can match $5 million if that's the case.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. You got to look at the best contenders, and right now we have a lot of holes. So I don't know that we're necessarily the best contender. We're not necessarily the best fit.
But I think you also have to look at this. And I'm sorry, Matt. We'll come to you in a minute. You also have to look at this. 30 years old. You're talking about a new defensive system, a new way to learn how to do things. It's like starting over at 30. Where he could come to where, like he said, quote, "I'm comfortable," and be a coach again like he's been.
Well, in that, he's his own agent right now.
Right.
I don't know if you guys are aware of that. He's his own agent right now.
Yeah.
So that might be part of his criteria, is looking at systems, saying who has a system I work with,
right?
And who has a salary cap and has the same system, and that might be something he's looking at, because even if he's not the same player, like he's slower or he can't do things quite the same way he could, he's smart enough to where he can adjust angles and make adjustments to where he could still probably play maybe not at a Pro Bowl level, but it's close to it, I bet you, for the next several years.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm torn. I'm sad. Yeah. I hope he comes back, but I'm sad about the whole thing.
And a lot of people are in somewhat of a panic mode. They're still Richard Sherman. Don't panic. Stay calm. Matt, help us. What is your thought on the Sherman deal?
Well, I think this one hurts a little bit more because it's sort of the I don't know how to describe it really, but he's a totem player within the team. Yeah, he's a leader within the team, and therefore the fans of more people have got his jersey. The whole "Are you mad, bros?" The whole tip. It's all the whole history of our Super Bowl win is all with Sherman. So,
and it's even more ingrained because of his family. His family,
absolutely,
the fan base,
absolutely.
With the people.
So this is a more painful one, which makes it more difficult for the fans to process. Which is why you're getting a lot of this sort of extreme sobbing and howling from some quarters about what's going on. But in the same token, as Dennis rightly says, you've got to look at some of those statistics. You've got to look at some of you missed 7 games last year, 2 injuries or at least 2 surgeries, which I believe one of those was in London as well because he was over here a little while back.
Yes,
and you've got to look at it. You've got to look at it you've got to take that passionate emotional attachment off and look at it from a numbers point of view. It's probably the right thing to do at this stage, and put him out to free agency and see what he can get himself for. Because actually, it might be best fit that he isn't a Seahawk.
It might be.
It might be a best fit that he is a Patriot. It might be the best fit, and I'm talking the best fit for Sherman, not the best fit for us as a team. And I think it's right and fair that a player gets given the opportunity to have that 1-year prove it deal that Dustin's talking about, because. If he stays a Seahawk, and I would, don't get me wrong, if he comes back and he marches out of that tunnel wearing a 20, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But equally, if he's going to be more a sort of situational player because of his limitations, although don't get me wrong, when he's on the field, we know they're likely not to throw at him, so we sort of cut half the field in half. Certainly, if it's Green Bay, because they haven't thrown it in for years. But ultimately. We are losing that, but I do think we have Shaquille Griffin.
Yep.
We have a mini Sherman, if you like, in the development stage, and that 22-year-old, very talented, very clued and keyed in individual who's been mentored and brought along by Sherman, led by Sherman. So I think we have options. I just think what we've got to get over is that emotional tie, that emotional pain that are losing a significant player like Richard Sherman. And from I think every fan would say everyone loves Sherman. Everyone loves Sherman. So when you lose it, it hurts more.
Yeah, I agree.
But I can see him as a Patriot. I'm going to agree with Dustin. I can see him taking a 1 year. I mean, I thought 5 is a bit low. I thought he'd probably be pushing for 7 to 8. But whatever. Yeah. But it'll be a 1 year. And again, I don't know their cap space, but it will be a 1 year type of prove it deal. But I have to say that will make or break him, because if he has another injury prone year, God forbid, or something like that, then it could be the end of his career. Full stop.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I still think he's going to go out, and I think he's going to give the Seahawks a chance to match whatever he finds. And if it's lower than 7 or 8, then I think we match it, or at least make an attempt to. And I think he's a very, very smart, brilliant, not young. Well, he's young. He's 9 to 30. That's young. Very smart, brilliant young mind. He knows that going on a new team is new responsibilities and all that. So I think the hometown won't get a discount, but I think if all things are even, if it was me personally, do I want to stay in a system that I'm coaching basically? And I don't know. We'll see. I think it's
a system where you might have Earl chirping in his ear to come back home, and Cam, even if he's not playing, saying, "Man, you can't leave. You got to finish it out here."
Yeah.
But and here's how you're gonna know, Dennis. Here's exactly how you're gonna know if that's a possibility or not, because when a player's cut, if they're injured, they can file a grievance.
Right.
And so Sherm being cut allows the Seahawks something like $11 million in cap space, right? Now, if he files a grievance, that automatically will take half of that money and tie it up, so they can't use it until the grievance is settled.
Right.
So if he files a grievance, that means that they probably didn't leave on the best terms.
Right.
If he does not, then I think it's open to him coming back.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a good point.
I'm hoping for no grievance.
I am too. The signs seem to think that. I don't know. The signs seem to point that way. And again, like we said with Bennett, they're allowing Sherman to go out and see what his worth is. They're not holding him. They're not, they're releasing him and allowing him to go out and do that. I think it's a goodwill. Again, another goodwill move by the Seahawks. Hey, go out there and see what you're worth.
Yeah.
So.
And I think the timing makes sense, too, because they're not doing it late. The later you do it, the less likely he's going to be to sign with anybody, because teams are going to already have signed their players and draft their players.
Right.
Giving him a chance to get out there and advertise and
get his value.
Exactly.
He'll assess his value, essentially. And if he doesn't get those numbers, if the Patriots don't come up with that magic number, which I'm pretty sure they would, but if they don't, then he knows what his value is on the market.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think we've been able to calm everyone down. The panic has lessened, I hope, for all of you. We'll see how this goes from here. We do have still Chancellor and Averill. We'll see Chancellor and Averill. We'll see how they go. Thomas, it looks like they're going to try to re-sign. So
I think Lane is gone.
Lane's gone. Yeah.
Hidden amongst all that, Lane is gone, and I know, Matt, you have a view on that. What are your thoughts on Lane being gone?
I don't care. I mean, again, it's for me. This is that moment in time. If Earl is now going to be bringing through a younger set of, if he's going to be the leader that's going to be bringing through and developing a younger set of cornerbacks and secondaries and defensive players, then actually I'm quite excited by that.
Yeah.
And I think this is that moment. And I've said it, I think in the last 2 shows, I want to see that competition from 2012 come back into the team. That fight, that chip on the shoulder, that, we're not a bunch of divas. We're not all known, we're not all going to get talked about on all the shows and all the panel shows and all that sort of stuff. We're young, we're undrafted, we're angry, we're determined. We are going to do things differently, and we're going to make it. We're going to make an impact. So, it sometimes that hits, sometimes that misses, but I'm excited to see what happens.
I am too. I'll leave with this real quick. You talked about Thomas being the leader. Remember, a guy he was in St. Louis working for the Rams, and he did the water bottles for both teams. He did, I think he did the Rams the first half, the Seahawks the second half, and he gave a really good on-the-field synopsis of these teams, and he was very flattering to both. But he said one thing I noticed. This was only 2 years ago or so. This was in St. Louis. So I don't know when it was. A couple years ago, longer than that. But anyway, he said at that time, he said, I don't care what you hear. What I heard on the sidelines, there's no mistake. The leader of the Seahawks defense is Earl Thomas, period. He said when that guy talked, everyone shut up and listened. He said Earl Thomas is the leader of that defense. Don't let anyone fool you otherwise. Huh? And so if that's the case, then we've got our leader.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine, everybody. Don't panic. All is well. And so is halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
Oh, here we go. Coming up on this special March Madness episode of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We add a free agent to our team, but next, it is time for the 12-Man halftime trivia challenge of the century. Coming up next!
Hi, I'm Rosette, and you're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, Mia. Welcome to another wonderful edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia
of the world.
The game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants tonight are Matt and Dustin, and here are the rules. It's a little different tonight. Oh, yes, because you see, here's the situation. Only Dustin and Matt are going to compete. Of course, they're the only ones here, but they'll each attempt to answer 4 questions. They cannot get any help. And if they're within 2 points of each other, we will have a final question. And what's at stake tonight? Only the entire 5th season reigning championship. Because you see, these guys ended in a tie at the end of the 5th season. And with the award show, Dustin couldn't be there. So we're going to finish this now. Mano y mano. American against British.
We all know how that last war worked out.
We all know how the last one worked. Here we go.
Yeah, you were late.
Can you feel the tenseness?
Probably why you didn't turn up to the award show. Yes.
Yes, he didn't. So, well, listen. Since Matt wound up coming to the award show, Matt, you get to decide whether you want to be odd or even.
Oh, I'm odd. There's no question.
Agreed.
So he will be the odd questions, and you will be the even questions.
I don't know why we can't just have a tie. A tie is a perfectly acceptable outcome.
See, that's that freaking...
Sorry.
That's soccer.
Whoa. This isn't soccer, sir.
Hey!
Perfectly acceptable outcome, you know. The French have lived by the tie for years.
And we can all hug and buy beers afterwards. No, this is war!
He's from Europe. He likes soccer.
I know.
I don't know.
Here we go. So, odd is Matt.
He likes ties.
Matt, here these questions are about the show.
Cable ties.
So here you go. Matt, your first question is this.
Oh, goodness.
Who has the most appearances on the 12-Man Fan Jam show between Mike Pascal and Mark Ty Turner? Who has the most appearances on our show?
I thought it was going to be a trick question. I was just going to say Dennis. You've got
me too. I was going to say
because if you're not here, the show don't happen. Oh, damn it. I would have thought it's probably Mike Pascal.
It's probably...
Can I just ask, are we allowed to ask the kids or stuff?
No.
Okay, no.
Did you not pay attention to the rules?
No, because I was listening to you.
I have a music and everything. Damn you.
You've got to remember.
You know what? His answer doesn't... He automatically loses. My question.
I turned up to the award ceremony, so I automatically win. Yeah. But Can I just say, though, Dennis, you know damn well that all of us have, over the years that we've done this show, and it is years now, we've actually toned you out, so we don't really listen to anything you say.
And so do people that listen. But you said Mike Pascal.
Mike Pascal,
I listen.
Yeah. I'd say Mike Pascal. He feels like he's been on a lot.
Mike Pascal 6 times, Mark Ty Turner 4 times, so it was close.
No, he's busy out there trying to win Emmys and stuff, so...
Yeah, he's busy.
Mark can't make it quite
That's true. Dustin, your question is this. In what show number did Mike Pascal make his first appearance on our show? Was it episode... was it episode 27 or episode 28? Episode 27 or episode 28? The first one Mike Pascal made his first appearance on our show.
Hold on, Google's not functioning.
Yeah, go find this on Google.
That's when you hear that. Alexa, what show did Mike Pascal?
Yeah.
And Mark's
I don't know.
voice
We're gonna
comes on
go
and goes,
Jordan Babineau. We're gonna go Jordan Babineau.
Mark's voice comes on and goes, I don't know the answer. You know that. Don't listen to me.
Babineau. Babineau's my answer. You have to figure it out, sir.
27 or 28?
27. Babineau.
27. Oh, yeah, guys. Oh, you're so clever. He's a clever girl.
If you watch the Seahawks.
27, huh?
Yeah.
No! 28.
Never ever say clever girl again.
There's a whole
1-0. We go to the third.
Got it.
The second round, I guess you could call it. Second round of questioning. Here we go.
Yeah.
Matt?
Yes.
What are the most halftime trivia shows won in a row by anyone? And it's happened a couple times. 4
One
or
by
5?
you, Matt, of course.
The most halftime trivia shows won in a row by anyone. 4 or 5?
I'm going to need to think back about all my successes.
Look at your receipts for trophy orders.
Yeah, we don't do receipts because the receipts can be traced back to the tax man. So we will say 4.
Let's say 4.
Because I'm sure Mike Pascal normally comes on the 5th show and then ruins my run. So.
Probably 4. Yeah, 4.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, 2-0. Dustin?
Yeah.
Back against the wall. I'm just telling you. There's no pressure here, but don't screw this up.
It's quite safe. It's in Washington.
Yeah, okay, here you go. Are you ready? Oh, you're going to love this. What's a math question? Hey, Dustin. Overall, what is the percentage of halftime trivia shows won by Matt? 30% or 40%?
I have to say 40% in all honesty.
You gonna say 40%?
Yeah.
Okay. He says 40%. He's actually right. You have won 36 out of 91 trivias. That's 40% almost. That's amazing.
And Matt, here's your next question. What is your favorite show from the 12 Man show? You can't get it wrong. Any answer is acceptable. And then Dustin,
honestly,
episode 7.
He's so tetchy.
What did this guy say in segment 2?
I know.
He's really angry right now. I'll tell you what, just because of that, I'll deliberately get the next one wrong.
I'm an angry elf.
I'll deliberately get the next one wrong.
All right,
just
Matt,
to make
get
you feel
this one
better.
wrong. You ready?
Yeah.
What are the most halftime trivia shows Mark has won in one season? 3 or 4?
3.
Yeah, I'd lowball that one too.
Okay, you both say 3, huh? Well, guess what? It's 4! He won 4
I say I
in
know I'd
season
get it
3.
wrong. I just said I'd get it wrong. Specifically, I said I'd do it. I'm nice like that.
No, you really thought that was true, though.
Yeah, come on,
So did
didn't you? But didn't you?
Dustin?
Yeah.
What are the most halftime trivia shows Will has won in one season? 7 or 8?
I'll give him some credit. I'll say 8.
I'm gonna say 8.
I said 7.
Ooh. He said 8. Yes!
Ooh.
We got a tie score.
There we go. Makes it more exciting.
All right, here we go to question 7. What is the most halftime trivia shows won in the season by one person? Would it be 10 or 11? Most trivia season shows won in one season by one person. Is it 10 or 11?
Probably 11. Hello?
11.
11.
You think so?
Yeah.
I hope not.
Yeah! Hey, guess who it was?
Me.
Yeah, it was Matt.
That's on my. I've got a wall chart all set up with all my wins listed.
And finally, Dustin, who has been on the show more times, Andy, Northern Hawk Lendinar, or Mike Pascal?
Ooh. That's close.
many times is Mike on?
Yep.
5, 6?
I don't know.
Said how many times is he on? 5 or 6? We said
I don't
earlier.
remember. I seem to have forgotten that.
Ask Google.
It's right in front of me.
Seriously? It was in the questions. We had the answer. That's not
I have the answer
cheating.
right in front of me. I'm not telling you. Ooh,
Ow.
I just got salty.
Alright. Northern Hawk. Wait, hold on. Is that Northern Hawk or Canadian Hawk? I'm not sure.
Oh,
Which guy are we talking
Jesus.
about?
Northern Hawk.
I'll say Northern Hawk. I don't know.
He's going to say Northern Hawk for the tie.
Yeah, he's right.
Is it Northern Hawk? Yes!
Ooh.
9-6.
Yep.
This is a heavyweight bout, people.
It's tied, which means we'll have an answer
I'm calling
right
myself
here.
that.
All right.
I could almost make heavyweight for UFC.
It is
AFC?
time. Oh, Lord,
UFC,
not
Ultimate
KFC,
Fighting
UFC.
Championship.
Okay.
KFC. Here we go. It's time for the final question.
Question.
All right, here we go. Final question. High, low, closest without going over gets it. If you both go over, whoever's closest to the number gets it. Goes Dustin, Matt. Here we go. Dustin, Matt. So we start with Dustin. And Dustin, the final possible world champion for the 5th season question is this. How many times have people not in the posse won halftime trivia? So anyone not Dustin, Matt, Will, or Statsman Mark, how many times has someone not in the posse won halftime trivia?
Is
Overall,
too many an acceptable answer?
No.
I will say 6 times.
6 times. Matt?
I would say higher. For 7 times.
Matt's going 7 times.
Of course you would.
Of course you would. Remember, this is for the championship of the 5th season. How many times have people not in the posse won halftime trivia? Well, Andy won twice. Mike Pascal's won twice. Mark Ty Turner's won once. It's 5.
Oh!
You know what that means?
Hell yeah!
I wish I knew. It means the 5th season champion will go down in history as
Hello.
Dustin.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I think I'm going to change my theme song to the Thundercats theme song.
You don't like the
That'd
theme
be
song?
awesome. That would be awesome.
I think I will. But no, I'm enjoying this. A little skilo.
We should have you are the champion.
Congratulations, Dustin.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you passing the torch. Don't expect it to be reciprocated next season.
Hope it burns you. You're welcome to the torch. I hope it burns you.
Oh,
Still will. I'm bad with fireworks.
Yeah.
I gotta separate these two. Meanwhile, it's been another crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning championship edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia.
Of the world.
We'll be right back with the second half after this. Skilo, take us out.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Straight up now, shoot me.
Holy shit, it's the 3rd quarter.
Yes, the 3rd quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hey, you! Yes, you, timing your grandma's 40 time. Like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join us on our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Do it now before another player jersey you wear becomes a relic. Oh no, too late! All right. During break, I want to congratulate once again Dustin. Congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
On being the champion for the 5th season. You did a great job of coming from behind when you needed it. And just want to share that with you.
You know, that's how I do.
Yeah. And you are celebrating right now, are you not?
I wouldn't call it celebrating. I'd say mourning. But
Yeah.
yes.
Having a hawk bomb, I believe.
Hawk bombs, yeah.
Yeah.
Hawk bombs. So if I know there's people listening that probably never been to Seattle, never been to one of the games, but there's a bar called the Hawk's Nest Bar and Grill. It was started by a person who's she was a good friend of a lot of people on this website Dennis and I used to be on, and probably several other websites. Her name was Rachel, and their signature drink was a Hawk Bomb, and it's associated with the Seahawks and the Hawks Nest Bar and Grill. And I'd shared several Hawk Bombs with Richard Sherman's brother Branton, tailgating. And after he got cut today, I kind of wanted a Hawk Bomb, so I bought all the ingredients, and I'm having some Hawk Bombs and kind of reminiscing about all the good times we had with Richard Sherman, and then the times I had tailgating with his family. So that's,
I know you tailgated with him a lot. Yeah. Well, okay, that brought the show down, but I'll try to bring the show back up.
But shout out to Rachel.
Yeah, shout out to Rachel and Hawks Nest. Hey, let's talk about NFL free agency, shall we?
Yes, let's do that.
You know, because it's as of the 12th, I believe, or the 14th, this free agency is going to kick in, and a number of enticing names are on that list, and some of us would love to see some of those people in a Seahawk uniform if it wasn't for pesky things like, you know, salary caps and contracts and players actually wanting to play here. But wouldn't it be great if all those pesky things just blew away? So, guess what? That's what we're going to do. We get the dog after him.
Now's the puppy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a new puppy, Belgian Malinois, and she's very protective of everything.
Well, she's going to help you make a pick, because what we're going to do is we're going to imagine a world where there's no salary cap, a world where players want to play in Seattle, a world where we can take the best offensive, defensive player available in free agency and add him to the Seahawks. No questions asked. So, if that was the case, Dustin, who would you add to the offense of the Seahawks, and why?
This is actually kind of a hard question, looking at the free agent class.
It really is.
But to be honest with you, I'd go Jonathan Stewart, offense.
He was great on The Daily Show, and he has a lot of free time now.
Yeah, he's not necessarily not Jon Stewart, different guy. But Jonathan Stewart. He was running back for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah,
he is no longer a member of that team. He's from Lacey, Washington, which is where I live. He went to the same middle school that my kids go to. He went to the same high school my kids are going to go to. And he's been a decent back in the league for a while. I think if we brought him in, he would do a better job than Eddie Lacy did, for sure. And he's just we need help in the running back position. He's a guy I think that could come out here and, you know, help a little bit. He's not going to solve our issues. He's not the messiah of the Seahawks running game, but he's a contributor if we bring him in. So I kind of hope that we
we just want new people to tailgate with now. That's what that is.
Yeah.
It's a vicious circle. Jon Stewart, not a bad pick. He's actually coming to Seattle to check it out. So why not?
Yeah, why not Jon Stewart?
Yeah. Hey, Matt, what you got on your free agency?
I don't want any of them. They're all old or rejected. Yeah, I'm not loving many of these. I suppose if I had to, I'd probably go with someone like Dion Lewis, from New England, the running back.
Oh, nice pick.
Well, I mean, he had a reasonable. So he had a great Super Bowl. I mean, they didn't have a great Super Bowl; they lost. But it's he had a reasonable season. Played all 16 games, 180 attempts, 896 yards, which is probably 896 more yards running than we did last year.
I think that's about right.
His average was 5 yards, 44 was his longest, 6 touchdowns, which is 5 touchdowns more than we got as a team. So yeah, if I had to have maybe someone like that as a running back, just to put a little bit of experience into the position. But I'm see at the moment I'm still switched on to let's get in really. Let's not bother with old hat players that have been discarded by everybody else. Let's go out there and get some fresh, new, angry, competitive talent.
Well, as like a second option, though, you can put a Sammy Watkins or an Allen Robinson in there because they're receivers with size that we could probably use.
The other, actually, Drew Brees is available apparently according to the list.
Well, heck of a backup, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, gonna need a backup. Fits into the scheme, little tiny man.
Really, Drew Brees?
Yeah, little teeny tiny man.
So Matt's going for the reasonable Dion Lewis. Sounds like.
Yeah, reasonable. Yeah. But I only want to pay about $5.50 for him.
Well, now remember, that's not an issue here.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We just made that all blow away. So
now, Drew Brees makes sense then. He can mentor Russell.
Yeah, why not? I mean, go high or go home. Can you see? Yeah, let's just do that. It'll be a Madden game. So it's my turn, and I guess it's time for me to make my pick. And
your turn means.
If I could pick any offensive player on the free agent market to come to Seattle, and that is the rule, and that there are any guidelines whatsoever, there's only one person that I would pick. You know who it is.
I do.
Jimmy Graham!
There it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham, come back, buddy! We can't live without you!
I mean, it's just not been that effective, do you know what I mean? It's not effective.
Yeah, how does that help? Anything.
Nothing, really. Yeah, great pick, Dennis.
Yeah, awesome job, man.
Awesome job, man.
We can't live without Jimmy Graham! Come back to me!
I mean, I lived with him before he was here, and I'll live with him when he's
gone. I know, absolutely. But, you know,
he's coming back, guys, I swear!
You're doing a grand job, Dennis. It's a great pick, man.
He's coming back! Yeah. He's coming back. I don't care what you say. That's the end of the third quarter. I'll get myself back together, and we'll add a defensive free agent to the Seahawks. You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We can't live without it. Seahawk positivity. It's my bag, and I dig it the most, baby.
Wrong slot.
We'll be right back.
Seriously, dude, Jimmy Graham?
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Nobody cares.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Oh, it is time for the fourth and final quarter of episode 601 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. If you're just joining us and you've never listened to the show and you're this far, first off, congratulations. Second off, Matt loves my French accent or whatever the hell that just was, so I do that.
No, that's absolutely French, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
Totally French.
In this quarter, we are going to add a defensive player to the Seahawks from the free agency. We'll start with Dustin. Dustin, what defensive player would you like to add if we had no salary cap issues or anything?
So no salary cap issues or anything. So as we know, we just got Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
So that's obviously going to leave a big gap in the defense. He was pretty good. And looking at the players out there that fit our scheme and what we do as a team, I'm going to say that we should re-sign Richard Sherman.
Okay. That's fair.
That is the defensive player that I want us to bring back. Or that I want us to sign in free agency.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely fair. And since we just released him, he is a free agent, and you can re-sign him. I have no problem with that. I think it's a great addition to the Seahawks. Would help solidify that defensive backfield a little bit because there seems to be a hole there right now.
And I think he'd be good in the locker room. I feel like he's a leader, you know?
He's a really nice guy. I know that.
He is a really nice guy.
Yeah, a great coach, a great player, very smart guy. I love – we didn't talk about this, but about Richard Sherman, I love watching his interviews because he answers the questions. He doesn't give that Miss America answer. He's going to tell you what he really thinks.
Yeah.
And I love it because he's truthful. And he has the best press conferences ever.
And I can tell you from personal experience, he's like that off camera too. You can talk to him and he's like a normal dude. He'll tell you what he thinks. He has a discussion.
Love it.
He's a chill dude, man. He's really cool.
He feels
really
real.
Cool guy.
He feels real. I think that's why there's such an attachment to him because he is real.
Yeah.
He doesn't put up a facade of who he's not.
Yeah, so from my experiences with him,
Yeah.
What you see on the TV is what you get if you ever meet him in person.
Fantastic. I love to hear that. So, Matt, we saw enough for you. Did you find somebody free agency?
Thanks. Sort of. I mean, I'm sort of looking at these, and Sheldon Richardson is obviously one of ours that we're releasing. And I still think this.
That was my second one.
I was going to say the second pick, but he would be, wouldn't he? But I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, well, okay, let's be fair to the rules. If we had to pick someone who wasn't a Seahawk, it's really difficult because I'm sort of looking at them thinking, I don't really want any of them. But I suppose if I had to take one, I might take Malcolm Butler, only because he can then train our running backs about what to do on a 1 yard line.
Ouch.
But I mean, and you know, but maybe Malcolm Butler. As a serious thing, maybe Malcolm Butler. But why? I mean, I still want a young, angry, competitive newbie that's been overlooked in the draft, really. Mm-hmm. But you know, to be trained by Earl Thomas. But okay, Sheldon Richardson or Malcolm Butler.
All right. Well, you take Malcolm Butler.
Okay.
Because I'll take Sheldon Richardson.
You can take Sheldon. See, there's no one left, is there? You look at this chart and you're like, I don't want any of these people.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if a defense, if you look at it, aside from Sherm, it has to be the best pass rusher because our pass rush is hurting.
Yeah.
whoever that guy is, then it might be Sheldon because he's pretty good.
Yeah, and even though he didn't come, I was very underwhelmed by him coming in, but I think Will made a great point on the show a couple of shows ago, saying we didn't see he didn't put up the numbers, but his presence was as important as his numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And you look at guys like Clark and Jordan, and those guys put up those amazing numbers. Partially, of course, they're very talented, but partially it sure helps when you have a guy like Sheldon Richardson coming from inside as well. So I think it's a wise choice. I would love to see them make a real attempt to try to bring him back. I don't know if that'll happen, but wow, that would be great. So Richard Sherman and Malcolm Butler and Sheldon Richardson and Jimmy Graham and Jonathan Stewart and Deion Lewis, we fixed the team. There's no reason to panic.
It's interesting. Nobody mentioned any of the offensive linemen out there.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah. But everyone I saw was either 35 years old or they weren't that good.
I mean, the Carolina Panthers dude, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Guard.
Mm-hmm. He's so good. He's completely
guard.
No, he's an offensive lineman. Who knows offensive linemen? Besides our own. Honestly.
Andrew Norwell.
That's it.
Yes, Norwell. I knew it started with an N. Yeah, he's a pretty good player. Here's the thing. I think it's very interesting. We got rid of Tom Cable. He's gone, right? So the linemen that come in are going to be a different breed than what we're used to seeing.
Probably.
So Solari's a different type of coach than Cable.
Probably.
So these guys we might be looking at more traditional type of linemen.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy is more of a traditional type of lineman. So maybe that's going to help solve the running game in and of itself.
Maybe.
Having a different look at it like that.
Blocking and opening up,
not bringing defensive tackles in to play freaking offensive guard and shit like that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. That's possible. I mean, we don't know. That's the thing. That's the excitement about this offseason. New coordinators, new offensive line coach. We don't exactly know what they're looking for. Really. I mean, we can guess based on their experience, but we don't know what they're looking for. So we
know Solari a little bit, but that's it.
Yeah, we do. And you can look at what they've done in the past, and you can kind of assume that Norton Jr. is going to do kind of what's been doing. But
I think of this team at the moment, all bets are off. Wait and see, because they've surprised me every year in the draft. Yeah. They've surprised me with the coaching changes this year because they went further than I hoped that they would, and they've started to surprise me with the players because they're going further than I hoped they would. So you know what? All bets are off. Sure. All bets are off.
And I kind of find that a little bit exciting.
Yeah, me too. I am excited. Genuinely excited about it.
Not to be too much of a downer, at this point, I don't think they're a playoff team.
Well, at this point,
there's a lot of holes to fill. I agree with you.
There's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot to go on. But you know what? Any given Sunday, any given game. Do you know what I mean?
Well, no, Matt. It's not even that. It's just like today, like right now, before the league year starts, they're not a playoff team because all the holes on the defensive line, a lot of holes on offense. Well, what they do moving forward is going to do a lot to determine what this team looks like.
Yeah.
But you know what that means? It means that the betting odds for them winning the Super Bowl get better and better and better. So get your dollars, get your dollars out there now, people.
Well, and there's only, I think, 44 signed under contract right now, so we're 9 under the minimum anyway.
And we have to have 90 for training camp.
Yeah, so exciting stuff.
Wait for the call, Dennis, because you could be on the team at some point.
Oh, I don't know that 40.
Well, I mean, I live closer. I probably way more.
Yeah, but they've actually got combine stats for Dennis. I mean,
fair enough. I'm not submitting my combine stats.
What's your vertical jump, Dustin? It's about 3 inches.
I mean, like on a good day.
In heels.
In heels. Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
You have the strength shoes. Hey, Dennis. How many times did you bench the 225?
Oh, a couple. Hey, listen. So, by the way, before we close out, our next show is probably going to be right around draft time, or not? Yeah, right around draft time.
Get a month off.
We'll have some in April, probably middle, the late April, and we'll probably have the schedule hopefully right around the same time as the draft, so we do talk about the schedule, talk about the upcoming draft, and have our draft challenge we have every year. So be looking for 602 in about a month, but right now, it is time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-Man Fan Jam show to a sad panicking close. We're so glad you decided to waste some time with us. We certainly hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned a little something along the way. What did we learn this evening? Well, we learned that the Combine is a great place for Thundercat references.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, we learned we learned that Penn State has a safety that's pretty fly for a white guy. Matt misses Sherman's tip. I'll let that explain itself. Dustin tried to get us all drunk, and I got salty. So, on behalf of my partner, Craig Matt, our news hound, Shadowhawk Will, and Statsman Mark, who are not here, but we wish them to return back quickly, and they will. And Dustin as the Beaver, Roger Goodell, Mosette, Little Mo, Jimmy Graham, Richard Sherman, Michael Bennett, and everyone. Good night, everybody, and go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that he's gone.
Jimmy Graham?
I know.